Here's your wrestling news for August 12th, 2022. And we're kicking off today with Bray Wyatt, who was cut by WWE in July 2021, much to the shock of everyone. Wyatt's Fiend character had been immensely popular with fans and wrestlers alike, and the former Universal Champion has kept clear of the ring since his departure. With Vince McMahon now gone from WWE though, some have speculated that Wyatt could be on his way back, and according to those within the company, that is indeed the plan. In a report from Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, one superstar said that Wyatt's departure came because McMahon was simply done with the character and didn't like Bray on a personal level. They add, McMahon would shout derogatory things at Bray Wyatt about his physique, which the talent believes actually stemmed from the fact that Wyatt would often criticize the lack of creative direction that his stories or characters would go to. When word emerged of Bray Wyatt having a bad attitude, that came from those who worked directly with Vince McMahon. A source high up in WWE told Fightful that when things were bad, Wyatt would openly say so, and that McMahon didn't appreciate his honesty. Fightful also reported that his name has been pitched by WWE's creative team for a return, and that several current superstars have said they would go to bat for Bray if it meant his return. WWE has brought back several superstars already in this post-Vince McMahon era, and while there's no confirmation yet that Bray and Triple H have had talks, don't be too surprised to see the Eater of Worlds back on our screens. Bray was immensely popular with fans despite some shaky booking throughout his career, and has also teased something big in his wrestling career. Wyatt recently shared a poem referencing WWE, which many believe is a sign of his return, and now John Cena has weighed in, albeit in a cryptic manner. On Instagram, the 16-time WWE World Champion shared two images, one of Wyatt's recent poem and the other from their Firefly Funhouse match from WrestleMania 36. Like all posts Cena makes on Instagram, the wrestler-turned-actor gave no explanation behind his choice of imagery, leaving fans to speculate on what he could mean. At the time of his release, it was said that Wyatt had been at odds creatively with Vince McMahon, but with the former chairman gone, perhaps it's just a matter of time before the Fiend is terrorizing the WWE roster once more. From one Wyatt family member to another now, as there's been a lot of discussions as of late about the future of Erick Rowan. Now going by the name Erick Redbeard, the former Bludgeon Brother had a lot of people thinking he was returning to WWE, as he tweeted about walking through interesting doorways mere moments after the return of Dexter Lumis this week. Just days after this tweet, though, it was reported that Rowan was backstage at AEW's Quake by the Lake edition of Dynamite, and now we know where his next match will be. It's been announced that Erick Redbeard will be teaming up with Danhausen on tonight's edition of AEW Rampage, and the two will be taking on the Gun Club. Fightful were quick to point out that Redbeard has yet to sign a full-time contract with AEW, though it is said that he has a great relationship with the company. The former SmackDown Tag Team Champion has made a handful of appearances for AEW already, and after another appearance tonight, we'll have to see if Tony Khan is ready to put a contract in his hand. We've got an update on the Jeff Hardy case now, as the former world champion could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted of the DUI felony against him. This charge comes after Hardy was arrested in June this year, but the AEW star has now faced another delay. PW Insider reports that Hardy's hearing, which had been delayed multiple times to August 17th, has now been moved back 60 days, which would put the hearing on October 16th. This comes after Hardy's lawyers filed a motion on Wednesday waiving Hardy's right to a speedy trial, which is the same tactic that Tammy Sitch has used in her DUI manslaughter case. Jeff's hearing had been originally scheduled for July 5th before being pushed back to August 2nd and 17th, and hopefully this will be the last time it's delayed. Jeff has been suspended without pay from AEW, and Tony Khan has made it clear that this is his last and only chance to get himself clean. And we'll keep following this case for further updates. Now, since Triple H took the reins as head of WWE's talent relations, the company has faced several returns. Dakota Kai returned to WWE at SummerSlam, while Karrion Kross and Scarlett made an impact on last Friday's SmackDown, and this week's Raw saw the return of Dexter Lumis. We've already mentioned how Bray Wyatt's return seems very likely at this time, but he won't be the next former superstar to be on WWE TV. PW Insider reports that AJ Top Dollar Francis and Ashanti The Adonis are scheduled to be at tonight's SmackDown taping in Raleigh, North Carolina, and are likely to be on the show. It makes sense that Triple H wants to bring the pair back, as Hit Row was a popular act when he was in charge of NXT, but was greatly misused on the main roster by Vince McMahon. Mere weeks after their call-up on the October 2021 WWE Draft, Hit Row's B-Fab was released, and the rest of the stable was cut weeks later. Of course, Isaiah Swerve Scott won't be returning with them, as he is now one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions under the name Swerve Strickland, but expect 2 of Hit Row's 4 members to make an impact on tonight's SmackDown. Last month, Ric Flair competed in what is believed to be his final match, teaming with Andrade El Idolo to best Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Flair's match was an emotional affair and has had fans talking about who could be next to have their swan song, and one legend is looking to do just that. On Twitter, WWE Hall of Famer the Honky Tonk Man shared an image of him pulling up his knee pads and confirmed that he is preparing to have one more match. The longest-reigning Intercontinental Champion, Honkey didn't say who he hopes to face in his return to the ring, but we imagine there's no shortage of wrestlers who'd want to get in the ring with him. Honky Tonk Man's last match was back in early 2016, where he worked a 10-man elimination tag match for WrestlePro, getting the win for his team. Honky didn't confirm that his return will be his final ever match, but it certainly seems likely, and after a long hiatus from the ring, the Elvis impersonator is ready to shake, rattle, and roll at least one more time. And we're ending today with Chris Jericho, who has been proving that age is just a number in his recent performances. 2 weeks ago, Jericho faced off with Eddie Kingston in the bloody barbed wire everywhere death match on the Fyter Fest Dynamite, and this week saw the Wizard bleed profusely during his bout with Jon Moxley. Fans were concerned for Jericho with how badly he was messed up after Dynamite, but Sean Ross Sapp has informed us that the former AEW World Champion is doing fine and recovering. Addressing the cut Jericho suffered this week, Sapp noted that he required 7 stitches to close the wound he got from being busted open the hard way. Even at 51 years old, Jericho isn't afraid to get down and dirty in the ring, even if it means over half a dozen stitches after this week's Dynamite. And we're ending today with AEW, who not too long ago ran 2 weeks of Shark Week-themed episodes of Dynamite in collaboration with Discovery's annual celebration of all things shark. The tie-in was the latest IP crossover AEW has participated in, and the company will have another crossover later this month. AEW's Winter is Coming event name gained its title from HBO's Game of Thrones series, but a more recent event will directly collab with the House of the Dragon prequel, which will take place 300 years before the beloved series. The August 17th episode of AEW Dynamite will be presented by House of the Dragon, with the prequel series premiere coming 4 days later on August 21st. A lot has been changing and canceled in the wake of the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, but AEW seems to have escaped for now, and fans can look forward to what'll be an interesting episode of Dynamite next week. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.